Okay, so everybody rise up for your prayer, please join me. Right. I promise to my parents.
I promise to my parents.
I promise to my teachers.
I promise to my teachers.
I promise to myself.
I promise to
I
myself.
promise to God.
I promise to God.
That whatever I learn in these sessions will be put into practice immediately. I promise that I have realized that whatever I am going through is only a challenge, and it will not make me get down. I am insurmountable. I am a survivor, and I have a warrior attitude to come across all these challenges. I will remain as the most strongest, trained and tuned youngster. I will behave as a good student. I will behave as a good professional. Most importantly, I will behave as a disciplined citizen of India. Might is my right. I will fight my fright. It's not over until I win. I will use all the therapies effective. I promise. Thank you. Sit down, please, everybody. Okay, so we are starting up with an important unfinished business. Reshwar, do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Well, Reshwar, we finished a skit. You were a part of a skit a couple of times, and the students-driven skit. As you know, the students are the creative heads of their own skit derivations. Navalan started a skit a couple of weeks back. We finished it in 3 days. Kiran then came up with a mystery skit. We finished that, on which you are part of. We finished that in about 3 or 4 days. And then Dakshin Siddharth came up with a crime thriller. We finished that in 4 days, on which the editing is going on right now. And Vedavarshan was doing a skit, and that was about the gender discrimination, and we finished the skit just yesterday. So there is a discussion that is pending, because yesterday I elicited a discussion after Vedavarshan's skit has been finished. Some of the people were able to give their thoughts, but many people were not able to give their thoughts. So that is what is going to happen. So you just observe what the other people are saying, and then you will be able to understand the common factor of the skit. Then you will also be able to answer a couple of questions that I asked. That is going to happen in the first 5 or 6 minutes. And then we are going to have a common game for today alone. And tomorrow we are going to have another skit going to be launched on the Saturday. This skit is going to be administered by Prabhu Aditya and Ratan Nitish. So the reason why I am saying this, Reshwar, is you should be bringing up a plot of your own self. From the US batch, you three members, that is Kiran Nandita, Nitin Murugan, and you, Reshwar, have to bring a plot. Kiran has finished her business. Now Nitin has said that the plot is already ready, and you have to come up with a plot. So probably by next week, we will have your plot staged up. Can we do that, Reshwar?
Yeah, of course, sir.
That's good. Okay, right. Mridubhashini. So Mridubhashini, you were part of Vedavarshan's plot. Yesterday you were not part of Vedavarshan's plot, but day before yesterday on the first day. So what is your learning from this skit?
Sir, we should fight for our nation, sir, and we should not discriminate women, sir, and we should help others, sir.
Okay. Which was the favorite learning spot of yours, and what did you learn in that sequence?
Sir, when the women police are getting into the war and they get the victims in that, that was the favorite part in the film, sir. And I learned that we should be very brave, and we should not be worried about weakness or anything. And we should be bold, and we should fight for it.
Okay. Right, that's good one. Ritvika? Ritvika, are you there? Okay, Balaji, we missed to get your learning. So, tell us what was your learning?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, very much.
So, sir, my learning is that so we should sacrifice for the nation, and also we should not discriminate the women, and we should know that men and women are equal. So we should so there should not be any discrimination in the future, sir.
Right, that's good. Okay. Kiran, you wanted to go next? Come on, tell us your learning.
Okay, sir. So, sir, can I explain something that's happened to me before and relate that with the learning, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sir. So, sir, I like to scrouge to my mom's WhatsApp. I don't know why, sir. It's just really fun to do it, sir. And so while I do that, there's this one chat that always sends very positive messages, sir. And I sometimes look through that chat too, sir. More army people read this, sir, they would realize how essential women can be in the army, sir. And so it actually depends on the perspective, sir.
Anybody else would like to answer apart from the, yeah, Navin?
Sir, so last time you mentioned yet they were women, sir. And I think it depends, you might ask us whether it is in a positive way or in a negative way, sir. And right now hearing it and thinking about it for a second or so, see, it feels to me like it could be both, sir, depending upon the context I mean, and basically there is no data, no basis to the fact that women are lesser than men, sir. But somehow in our society, in many societies, many other society, that was a very ingrained part of the culture, sir. And in recent times it's changed, sir. So if the person you mentioned, sir, the serviceman, so if let's say he was born in the 1950s, he would still think of it in a positive way that women are coming here and say, even yet they were women.
Yeah, right.
Because, but if it was someone like me, who was, or Vedashinu was born just 12 years ago or 13 years ago, we feel that it is unnecessary to even have the word yet, sir, because they are women, they are men. That's the same thing as saying yet they were men, sir. There's no basis to both of those sentences, sir. So it depends upon the times which the person was born and the context.
The person was born in the 1940s, and your context is right. He was making it both in a negative way and a positive way, and he left to the reader to keep it judging. So I took it in a positive way. Yet they are women. If you take a poet like William's Wordsworth, he says that women are more stronger. Women are ever stronger even than any other universal elements that could have ever been produced on this the entire spectrum of this massive, this massive oasis called as universe. And if you see that in William Wordsworth's perspective, then he's saying on a very positive way. But he says Indian Army never looks women as a short resource. But yet that particular context was very misleading. So again, as Navin and Kiran rightly mentioned, it depends upon the kind of spectacle that you wear and the perspective that you have. Right, so good answer, Kiran. Nice, very good.
Thank you, sir, for the questions. They were really interesting, sir.
Yeah, right. Nitin Murugan. Nitin.
Sir, sorry, sir. I'm using the iPad today. I couldn't get it on mute.
What's your learning, Nitin?
Sir, I learned that gender discrimination is not fair and it is unnecessary to do, sir. And actually, women are perceived as weak and unstable, but it's not true. They are actually more mentally stable than men, and they can be very helpful and useful in different ways.
Right, that's right. You speak very mature. Anybody else would like to give your learning experience before I go to Reshwar? Anybody else?
Sir, me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, in this, the PSP, sir, he was actually
Yeah.
So he
Richard.
was, sir,
Get it?
sir, he was doing some bad things to the nation, sir. So basically, sir, he was the messenger to the opposite
No, he
country,
was
sir.
doing some bad
So-
things. Ritan,
Sir,
he was doing some bad things only for the nation.
yes, sir.
ரொம்ப பெரிய
So we
மனுஷன்.
should, yes, sir. So we should not do bad things, sir. So that will be the last bad thing you will be doing, sir. So in this story, PSP had shot himself, sir. So if you are doing bad things, means it will be repeating to you, sir, or repeating to the person who did bad things, sir.
Bad things.
So karma, right? Karma is a boomerang, right?
Yes, sir.
Super. So PSC dies.
Sir, may I, sir?
நல்ல சொன்ன எனக்கு தெரியல. Okay, yeah, Prabhu.
So, sir, first, sir, if we get into a government job, we need to serve our nation, sir. And that's why they have chosen us as a person, sir. So, we need to serve our nation, sir. And gender discrimination will never be the major factor for things to happen in the world, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone can do anything, sir.
Everyone can do anything. That's right. Good. Okay. Good job. So all along, I appreciate Vedoshan for coming up with this plot.
Well done, Vedavarshan, and a very interesting plot.
Thank you.
So the part 1 of the Green Opal skit is ready and it is getting uploaded right now simultaneously in my official YouTube channel, that is MS Evening Session official YouTube channel. The part 1, when I say, is the events that occurred on 22nd, the first day of Green Opal skit. Okay, so maybe I will send some excerpts of that in WhatsApp group, and you will be really motivated and interested to see the video. So keep those videos very preserved. I'm going to start a separate playlist, and if you see that part 1 and the video parting away, the title itself, MS Evening Session, எந்தெந்த செஷன்ல கண்டக்ட் பண்ணது, எந்தெந்த டேட்ல கண்டக்ட் பண்ணது, and I would have written something called as the creative head. In that, the creative head will be Dakshin Siddharth. Part 1 அப்படின்ட்டு இருக்கும். Part 2 tonight I'm going to edit. So 4 days, 4 parts, and after finishing that I will come with you. So Nagalan's plot and Kiran's plot unfortunately did not happen in the direct class, but then we can still make a video of it. I will take the audio source and I will mix it up with pictures, and I will do re-recording, and I will also post that. So in another 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I think it will be up in the air. It is part 1. So after the session, you can watch it and you can download it. Right. Reshwar,
Yes, sir.
if I ask you to go up with a plot, which kind of a plot you would come up with? You are a avid psychology interested candidate. So is it going to be with psychology, extracting 1960 Hitchcock movie The Psycho, part 4, likewise, or any other thing? What could be the, just curious, what would be the genre of your plot?
I don't know. I don't want to stick with like war and fighting, because, or just like people dying, because I feel like we've been doing that a lot. So maybe something psychological. I don't know. I wasn't thinking of that. I thought you were gonna ask me a question about the discussion we were just having. So I'll let you know tomorrow what my genre is going to be.
Right, think about that and put a real contemplation on that and reveal that tomorrow if you can, okay?
Okay.
Right.
Can I also say something about what we were discussing right now?
Please, go ahead.
Okay. So, so from like what I understand, you guys had a skit yesterday about like the importance of women, how they're strong. But another something else that's interesting is that if you look back into history and even like today, women have had more influence than men ever did, because women always had an influence over men. Okay, for as an example, I know this is fictional, but it's kind of true. Have you watched the movie Komali?
Yes.
Yeah.
All
you,
the comments.
you remember? Yeah, remember in the scene where the main character's ancestors, he's just like giving all the stuff away, to the ladies or whatever, just to please them. And so I think in that way, in like men's thinking that like they have to protect the women, the children in that way, like women influence and always try to please them. And so I think like even protecting like a mother nation, like even look at what gender we give to like our the nation, right? Like the motherland, it's a feminine form, right? So I feel like in that way, like the feminine gender kind of influences the men and what their actions are.
Right.
So even if a soldier goes to fight a war, they do it so they can protect their family.
Right.
I don't know if like a soldier would go on his own, like without any meaning, because like either he's trying to protect his homeland, which is a feminine form, or he's trying to protect his family, which is like his wife and kids. So
That's a good
I don't
one.
know. So I hope I explained it right. It's an interesting observation. So
I got it. I got the reference that you tried to. In fact, I got the deep ideas of your mind when you explained that. I'm not sure whether your co-mates have understood. One last question before we go to the next proceeding. I mean, that has really kindled me. I mean, your explanation now has really kindled me. This influential factor that is sometimes teenagers and youngsters, they have this hormonal way of drive. I remember one of my friends, when I was doing my 8th standard or 9th standard, I had a friend, his name was Dinesh. So Dinesh is in UK now. So Dinesh spent 315 rupees. And those days, 315 is like 3,500 rupees. I'm speaking about what? Roughly about 1991 or 1992, when I was an 8th grade student. And Dinesh spent 315 rupees of his dad's money, which was given to him. He was staying in a hostel, local hostel, and he was studying along with me in a school called as Vishwadipti Matriculation out here. So he spent for a girl. And the girl was, she did not ask any help from Dinesh. That's the interesting point here. And he started spending all the money for getting the moral science book Xerox. She was not able to afford the moral science book. The funny fact is that the moral science book itself was only 125 rupees. But Dinesh spent 315 rupees, giving away all the money. His dad his dad was in Tirunelveli, he sent only 500 rupees for that month, and out of 500, he spent 350 rupees for getting the photocopy of moral science book for this girl. Her name is Gayatri. So for Gayatri, he spent 350 rupees. And when he was giving that to her, she was totally not expecting and accepting the thing. But he never bothered about all that. It was all smiles, and I was able to see his lip getting extended from year to year, and he was standing, and the eyes were full of butterflies and all that. And Gayatri was looking at him top to bottom at least for 6 or 7 times. And at the same time, I was in the tuition. We both went to the same tuition, Hindi tuition. I was on the bench, and she also looked at me, and I was putting my head down. And she asked me, "Is this you who gave the idea?" I said, "No. What do you think about it?" I would ask a guy to spend 315 rupees, that too for a girl. அது வரைக்கும் எந்த பிரச்சனையும் நடக்கல. ஆனா நான் இந்த ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் சொன்ன பிறகு she became a wild animal. And then I became a prey because Dinesh later became a wild animal towards me. எல்லாம் ஒழுங்கா போயிட்டு இருந்தா நீ கூட இருந்தனால தான் எல்லாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி. So what do you think? Now let us not get into the detail after that. We will have the personal story. So girls always used to have a little bit of hatred towards me because of such wild behavior those times. But Dinesh was such a lovely boy. So you tell me, as a college entering student, what drives a boy go so crazy during that time, driven by the hormonal attractions, and what is the pleasure they are getting, and why are they going crazy at that point of time, and how to avoid it?
So it makes sense.
Okay. That's a loaded question, but I'll try my best.
Yeah.
So I think So like when a guy tries to woo a girl, I think that's like a concept since forever. They're trying to find like when they do that, they try to find like their own importance. So it's not like about trying to make the other person feel better. It's like about trying to make yourself feel better. Like you're more of a man than you know, or maybe like you're so manly that like other girls would want you, and how to avoid it. I think to avoid it, you just have to have other goals in life. No, just not worry about that sort of stuff because that'll just come on its own.
Dinesh's only goal was Gayatri that time, so I did not have any other choice to motivate him. Her friendship was the biggest goal, and he kept on talking about it. That's in fact the very reason why I started distancing from Dinesh. And even my dad was very much surprised that I have got distance from Dinesh. He was a very studious fellow, unlike me. He was good in mathematics, unlike me. He was good in English, unlike me. And but at the same time, he was good in the other things as well. So one of the things as well. So
Well,
yeah.
yeah. So I think when we grow older and we go to like college, we become like very lonely. I mean, like independent. I'm saying. So when we're independent, we kind of like nobody's telling us what we should do and what we shouldn't do. And at the same time, we become lonely, and we kind of come into like a routine sort of life. Where you wake up, brush your teeth, go to school, come back. I mean, that's already happening in school, like normal school time. But this time, you can choose to do that, or you can choose to not do that. And so when that freedom comes, plus these hormonal changes, which like tell you, hey man, you should go have some fun, you know, do something your parents told you not to do because it's distracting. Well, you go do it anyway because well, it's like what do you say, like drugs, I guess. Like once, you know, like it has the same effects in dopamine, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's correct. I mean, I totally agree with your answer. For everybody who is attending both in direct session and online session, the reason why I came up with this personal true story of my friend Dinesh is, the kid was only looking forward for the friendship. But the point here I wanted to make is, here we are speaking about Vedavarshana's plot of discrimination being denied. The discrimination on girls start happening because of some personal stories that every single person has got with womanhood. Going back to the example of Dinesh, this girl started showing hatred and there was no friendship between them. And from then onwards, he started speaking bad about the girls. Discrimination born, right? And then I was in contact, yes, when I was doing my MBA, Dinesh was doing his MSc, Software Systems, in a different college. And we spoke about the girl again, right? So those days it was only email. So he mailed me and he asked me, did you have any contact? I said yes. She, at that point of time, that girl Gayatri got district award. And she scored really well in mathematics, so she got district award. So we were speaking. And eventually I saw a different kind of a Dinesh Kumar who was really become as an epitome of shedding hatred about girls. So in Dinesh's mind, the discrimination was born the moment when he handed over the photocopy. In a way it was because of me as well, because I pulled up a fight with that girl and it was all the spoiling of the party and reason was me. But discrimination காமிக்கிற அத்தனை பேருக்கு இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு story. Everybody who is a male chauvinist, you know what is a male chauvinist? A male chauvinist is a person who thinks that males can do anything but females can't. அதே மாதிரி female chauvinists இருக்காங்க. Female chauvinists are the ones who say that we women can do anything, but the males, they are wasted. Some women, I have come across lots of college friends, they will speak outrageously bad about men. They will have all the miscalculations about men. But I wonder, they are married now and they are mothers. How could they do that, right? So, அவங்க எல்லாத்துக்கிட்டையுமே கேட்டு பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னா, you will come across a point that chauvinism has come because of one simple reason or one particular person way back in the school day or in the college day. So discrimination அப்படின்றது, it's a total pileup of all these kinds of bad experiences they had in the past. So how can we avoid discrimination and how can we deny the discrimination as Vedavarshana's plot's title? discrimination denied? How can it be denied? Every single person has to introspect. Why am I hating the women so much? Why am I thinking that women are ineffective? Why am I thinking that women are useless? Why am I thinking that they are less dominant and less dynamic? And the person has to catch that personal experience. And the personal experience they eduthu paatha, then, come in. Then the person will know it was his mistake. இதை நான் ஏன் உங்களுக்கு சொல்றது தெரியுமா? இதுதான். This is the age. Because இப்போ என்னுடைய friend தினேஷோட ஏஜ் நீங்க எல்லாம் இருக்கு. At this point of time, you will be easily able to discriminate between men and women. Let's say, if you take my own daughter Mitra, she does not see any discrimination. But over 7 months, 8 months, now our project, if I go outstation, and if she is growing along with the other 2 ladies in my home, her mom and her grandma, something might happen that she might be growing the discrimination. But some bad friends, some bad experiences, some kind of twisted mind people, if they come across Mitra's life, if Mitra is not intellectual enough to filter the messages, and if she becomes dependent, discrimination happens in that girl's mind as well. And 8 months later, I come back and I see a different framed mind of my daughter, and I become surprised. Over discrimination. Now I want everybody to ask a question to yourself. If you are a girl, think about the male discrimination. If you are a boy, think about the female discrimination. Are you a discriminating person? Have you ever thought that it's after all a girl? At least it's a girl. Oh my God, it's a very big prestige problem if I lose to a girl. Oh my God, it's going to be a real dignity factor if I lose to that idiotic boy. You did not answer yes or no. I'm not asking. But if your conscience says that yes, you are a person who thinks that congratulations, you are one among the discriminating people. அப்படி இருந்தது சார், ஆனால் நாளடைவில் நான் என்னை மாற்றிக்கிட்டேன் அப்படின்னா, then congratulations, you are a transformed person. அப்படிலாம் மாற்ற முடியாது, நான் அப்படி தான் இருப்பேன். என்னை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் பையன் வேற, பொண்ணு வேற, நான் வேற, அப்படின்னா நீ வேற கேட்டகரி நான். So I want you to ask a question. Asking a question to my own self, let me be very honest, out of my chest. To a certain extent, I was thinking that there are some areas where women cannot cherish. There are some areas where women cannot flourish. But I honestly agree with you, that was only till my 10th standard. 10th standard. Because Dinesh's incident changed things in me also. And in 10th standard, I became like everybody is equal. Because you know why 10th standard changed me? Newspaper came up with the results. These girls always coming up with good kind of marks in plus 2 and 10th standard. And we boys were handling that legacy of being the second and third and fourth and the bottom of the particular rank holding system and list. எப்போ பார்த்தாலும் 10th வந்துட்டு girls are first along, plus 2 girls are first along. And I started having a respect on them. How could they get that 10% mark in that physics? How could they get that 10% mark in that mathematics? What are they doing? They are breathing the same air I am breathing. They are eating the 3/4 of meal that I am eating. But how are they different? Apdi yosik, I started developing respect. Perhaps that is why I am blessed with a baby girl. So you got to be very careful in this. And the time that, as Reshwar rightly mentioned, think about where things are going wrong and think about the female, the number of female people in your family, your sister, your mother, your aunt, your cousin. They are also people, and that could change your mind. And my bottom line is, discrimination gets born when you have some past experience, and you take the past experience about the opposite gender true person. That's not a responsibility. So, if discrimination has to be denied, we all should do that introspection, and we all should take the dust out of us. Okay, Reshwar, I really appreciate your maturity in answering this.
Thank you, sir.
Right, yeah, sure.
2 minutes.
Sure.
So you said that whenever someone takes things too personally and they project that on people of the other gender or people who look different than them or people who speak different than them, you said that is the cause of hate and all of discrimination and it's race, caste, gender, all of those things.
Right.
So can I just tell you one experience? Sure. Not one of my friends, one of the persons who used to be my close friends, I'm not going to name the person obviously, but most of us here know whom the person is. My three classmates know who the person is. Most probably Mitraka, Kitna.
Mitraka.
I stopped that. Mitraka, Kitnaka, Brinda, I even know who the person is. So at the start of this year, we played basketball. We used to play basketball, sir. And at the start of this year, Parnil sir told us to play a match between the girls and the boys, sir. So not like girls versus boys and all of those things, sir, but girls and boys in the team and the opposite the same place team, sir. So we were playing it, and said friend, he is quite a good basketball player. Unfortunately, there were there are a lot of basketball players better than him, and to his let's say fury events, three of those, about four of there were, let's say he's in the 8th place in the basketball hierarchy, and three people above him were girls. So before that, this happened in literally the 3rd day of school, sir. B class we used to play volleyball. I guess Basil was not here this year. In B class we used to play volleyball and all of that stuff, sir. So that person, up until the 3rd day, up until he lost, until the moment he knew he lost, he was okay with the girls. He tried to respect them, and even though he didn't before, due to respect for his friends like me and a couple of other people who respected girls and were friends with them, that idea even disgusted him. So that's the word we could say. So he tried to understand. So in the moment he lost, he was literally speechless. He didn't speak anything all through the walk from the ground to class and then back to home. So it was the last period, if I remember correctly, sir. And the next day he comes out, he comes to the school and he sits up in his normal, and when those three girls who are close friends, they come into the class and they start speaking, he starts no sir, he starts disrespecting.
Disrespecting as much filthy as possible by
As filthy as possible and even more so.
behaving abusively.
Yes sir,
Okay.
to us.
Okay.
And we thought maybe he's just being so lucid, this will go away in a few days. And okay, Shala, it isn't in your place to say anything.
How did you people react to that?
We were surprised, sir, and that person's character, we kind of come to expect this from that person, sir.
It is not new.
It's not new, sir. He always does things like that, but even for him, this was a whole new level,
Okay.
you could say, sir.
Okay.
And he just upped this game in this disgusting thing, sir.
So he got erupted to a different kind of level.
Exactly like you said. And then later on, we said it will go away in a couple of days, and we tried to talk some sense into him, and when he didn't respond, we just let him be, sir. Because at that time, we weren't prepared, you could say, sir, to take that problem and correct it at its root, or acknowledge the problem as it is, because at that time, we still thought he could change, he's still our friend. We thought that. And we waited a couple of weeks, and then he started shouting at those three girls, and then at almost all of the other friends, and even at some boys who were said, in every class, every percentage knows there's a hierarchy of people. There are some people at the top you listen to, and it's unfortunate, but it's the truth. So there are some people at the top you listen to, and there are some people at the bottom you.
The system automatically sets it.
Yes, sir. Unfortunately, I never liked it, sir, but I was at the top. I'm not like.
You're a sought after person. People look for some solutions.
And that person said to us and people, he would, let's focus on the hierarchy analogy, sir. He would seem respectful on all of that stuff, sir. The second we turn our back, he would become a completely different person. It took us quite some time to realize that, sir. And as I said, by the 3rd week of school, he was dishing out female teachers, even the god and female janitors, and the female students whom he had previously maintained at least a mutual sense of respect with, if not friendship. And then by that time it was 2 months, so we thought of the same thing. And you mentioned that around that time was when you mentioned a topic to me, sir, when we were talking separately about how people strive either after pleasure or pain, and when they are faced with pain and when pain sets out to them, they react and they change in some fundamental ways, sir. So I thought maybe that's what's happening with him. Maybe he feels jealous, even we could say. That was the first word we all went as 8th graders too, sir. Maybe he feels jealous and all of that stuff. So we'll make them sit down and sort it out, sir. So our school there are a lot of free periods where we interact with the students, and most of the time the teachers let us free.
Yeah, it's a Shanti school.
It's the Shanti school days. So in one such period, what we did was we closed the door, everything. All of the class, if there's most of the time when there's any problems, the class acts as a jury. So the class as a whole acts as a deciding panel, and there's a judge obviously to rule all of those things. And the two people who are fighting or are in some sort of mishap or against each other, we let them say their part and hear it out. So that's like one of the traditions.
So he turned as a clinical patient on that note. Yeah. So the person that Nagavan spoke about is not having an experience. He has turned out to be a clinical patient on that, and it's going to take years together for him to recover. So now what is it?
Sir,
the same way?
we sat him down, sir, they spoke to him, they solved all their issues, sir. He's a bit subdued now, but everyone knows that he's putting up an act now. Because there is a difference when you see a person is acting and when a person has fundamentally changed.
He can go back to square one any day. So he can go back to square one any day, but right now he's pretending, as he mentioned. So it's a very nice example of a person, the worst case of a person becoming a clinical patient. And just imagine if this kind of a clinical patient becomes a defense minister. Okay? If he becomes the chief ruling officer in the civil servant aspiration, and he becomes a police officer. That's the skit we right. Perhaps this PA to PSP in this character was like him, right? So PA to PSP already bothered him. Okay, thanks for sharing. Last சரி இங்க இருக்க எல்லாத்துக்கும் அந்த ஃப்ரெண்ட் தெரியும் இல்லையா?
ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லெட்டர் சொன்னீங்கன்னா லிசன்
ஒன்ட்ட ஒருத்தன் பேசி என்கிட்ட அடி வாங்க அவன் பேரு
எக்ஸாக்ட்லி
அவன்
அந்த டீல ஆரம்பிக்கறாங்களா
அவனுடைய ஆண்ட் மஞ்சு வந்து அவனுடைய ஆண்ட் மஞ்சு வந்து எனக்கு தெரியும் அதான் தேங்க் யூ கரெக்ட் போட்டேன் நான் பேச அவனுக்கு அது தெரியும்
நான் இன்னொரு அண்ணா
அவனுடைய ஆண்ட் அவனோட அப்பாவோட தங்கச்சி வந்து என்னுடைய ஸ்டூடெண்ட். Her name is Manju. Pituitary gland problem இருக்கு. She will be only of this size. Pituitary gland. MCT நான் ப்ரொஃபஸர் இருக்கும்போது she was my student. இப்போ நவலன் பேசிட்டு இருக்கிறது அந்த பொண்ணுடைய nephew. அந்த பொண்ணு வந்து right opposite to this guy. அதனால தான் எனக்கு மித்ராவை வந்து ஒரு இடத்துல இன்ட்ரீட் பண்ணி அவன்கிட்ட வாங்கிட்டு அதுலேருந்து வந்து நான் இந்த வந்து அவன் அந்த அளவுக்கு போயிடுவேன். ஸோ
சார் அதுக்கப்புறம் நடுவில் ஒரு ப்ராப்ளம் இருந்துச்சுல்ல சார் அந்த இன்னொரு பொண்ணுக்கு அப்பதான் நீங்க போய் பணியை அவங்க வந்து அந்த அண்ணா வந்தாங்க இன்னொரு அண்ணா கூட அந்த டீல ஆரம்பிக்கிறாங்க அந்த அண்ணா கிட்ட வந்து சண்டை போட்டு பிரச்சனை அந்த பொண்ணுக்கு என்கிட்ட வந்து சண்டை போட்டுருந்தாங்க. அப்ப இந்த அண்ணா தாயப்பட்டு நேரம்
நீ அந்த அண்ணாவை பத்தி எங்கிட்ட சொல்லிட்டீங்கன்னா அந்த அண்ணாவுக்கு ஏதாவது பண்ணி இல்ல பல விஷயம் நீ இதை ஏன் எங்கிட்ட சொல்ற ஓகே இங்க அதுதான் படிக்கலாம் அப்போ நீ வந்து என்ன பண்றேன்னா ஸ்கூல்ல ஆரம்பிச்ச பிறகு அவ சொன்ன அந்த அண்ணாவை எனக்கு காட்டுறேன். நான் பார்க்கணும் 2 வருஷமோ 24 வருஷமோ நீ அவனை எப்படியாவது மீட் பண்ண ஒரு நாள் கூப்பிட்டு இல்ல இன்ட்ரோடியூஸ் மட்டும் பண்ணீங்க அவங்க கூட வந்து இப்ப நான் ஹரிஹரன் நான் உங்க கூட கிரிக்கெட் விளையாட ஒரே ஒரு காட்டு பேர் தருண் கார்த்திக் பத்தி நீ வந்து வீடியோ எடுத்துட்டு இருக்கும்போது வேதவசம் கிட்ட தருண் கார்த்திக் டியூஷனுக்கு வரானாடா அப்படின்னு நீ பேசுனீங்க அந்த தருண் கார்த்திக் அந்த கிரவுண்ட் வந்துட்டு இருக்கான பல்வேறு
3 நாள் வரல சார்.
இப்போ நாளைக்கு பார்க்க முடியாது.
பார்க்க முடியாது.
என் வீட்டுக்கு வந்து டெய்லி பார்க்க டியூஷன் வரும் சார். சார் டியூஷன் வரும்.
அப்போ அப்படியே ஒரு நாள் கூப்பிடுவோம். அடுத்து வெங்கட் வந்துருங்க. இல்லை இப்போ வெங்கட் விட இவனுக்கு தான் க்ளோஸ். கூப்பிடுவோம் இன்னும் கூப்பிடுவோம். இல்லை கூட்டிப்பா ஒரு நாள் வந்து அதாவது வந்து இந்த ஏஜில் இருக்கவங்க எல்லாத்துக்கும் வந்து ஒரு பிரேவரி அவார்ட் மாதிரி ஒரு
சார் இங்க இருக்குல்ல அதே
Okay, so thank you for listening. Now we are going to go for an activity, and that activity is pretty simple. It's called as the magnetic chair, and I'll put up a chair over here, and I'll put up a chair over here, and I will ask a random person to come and sit on the chair. So you can ask any question to the person, and the person is supposed to answer. Any question. Any question. So the first option will be given to the first option will be given to the online team. So you will be asking any question.
Sir, what are our techniques, sir? முதல்ல தடி கேட்பீங்க.
சார் நீங்க எதுல யோசிச்சிருப்பீங்க சார்?
எனக்கு ஒரு சீக்வென்ஸ்.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, can we pick who gets to sit and then ask them the question according to?
So you want to choose the person?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Sir, how about electing, sir? You can choose best of 3 persons, sir. We can elect the 3 persons, one of them, sir.
Okay, that's also another idea. I will ask Hariharan to bend down, and I'll put up the numbers. So you take care of the numbers and don't react. Okay, don't react.
போடா இரு.
So wait. Yes.
Operation.
Yeah, who wanted to speak?
So, sir, it's actually a funny thing that happened today, sir. I woke up, sir, and I really wanted to do like this question and answer session, like question and answer game, sir. And right now you're saying let's do this thing, sir.
That's correct. So that's called as telepathy and clairvoyance, and we had a skit on that. Do you remember?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is it. This is the proof that telepathy and clairvoyance are the important one. Okay, Kiran, we have 8 members here in this direct. So make a quick count in the online. Including me, we have 9.
Sir, 10, sir.
10 plus 9, including 19. So I'm going to ask Hariharan the number. Hariharan will sit down. நீ குடியவங்க வேண்டாம் அவங்க ஆன்லைனை பார்த்து. But Brinda, Vedavarshan, make sure that his eyes are closed. கண்ணை திறந்தானா
அது இப்படி செய்ய தெரியாது அதே கையா இருக்கு.
So boys and girls, very quickly I am asking the numbers for Hariharan, and he is going to say the name, and Mitra down here is writing the name, and very quickly we will cover up as many number of people as possible, and if it is getting spilled over, we will continue tomorrow also.
சரி கண்ணு தரங்க.
Okay, Hariharan, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, online team and direct team. The first. Wait. Online team and direct team. The first number. The first number I am going to ask to Hariharan is this. Okay, this is the number that I am going to ask. Okay. Illa, this become problematic. Me in the engine the word.
நம்பிக்கையான இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு நம்பிக்கையான வச்சிட்டீங்க.
My God, nice.
Bharat, சொல்லுங்க.
For external use only. இல்லடா. So வந்து Tuesday.
கவிதா ஒண்ணுமே இல்லை. நான் கேட்கறதுக்கு வந்து நீ நேம் மட்டும் சொல்றேன். எப்படின்னா நான் இங்கிலீஷ் கேட்பேன். ஏன்னா இந்த I have a certain number. Who's this for? அப்படின்னு கேட்பேன். நீ யார் வேணாலும் சூஸ் பண்ணு.
My God.
Okay, so Kalpita is doing it. So Kalpita, close your eyes please. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. So as I mentioned, Kalpita is having a number, and everybody in direct class and in online class are seeing the number. Who's this number for? Kirtana. Okay, right. So Kirtana is being booked So Kalpita, I'm asking for this, boys and girls, I'm asking for this. So Kalpita, I have a number. Who's this for? Okay, Mitra is booked, and Kalpita, I am asking about this number. For everybody, I am saying this number. Watch me carefully. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So Kalpita, I have a number in mind. Who's this for? Okay. Navilan is booked. I'm also in the list. Kalpita, remember me also. So next is, I'm asking this number. So Kalpita, who's this number for?
Sir,
I would like to remind people in the online, Kalpita, Balaji, Reshwar, Nitin Murugan, Kiran, then Mridubhashini, Prabhu Aditya, Ritan, Ritvika, Mridubhashini. And in direct class we have Vishnupriya, Brinda, Navilan, Manikandan Sundaresan, Hariharan. Reshwar. So Reshwar is booked on this. Okay, right? So the next one, it's a very ordinary number, but still we have to book a person for this too. So it's a very ordinary number. Okay, so this number, who's this one? Alright, okay, Nitin Murugan is booked. Right, so the next number is this, the next number is this. So who's this for? Okay, so Kiran is also booked. And the next number is this. Who's this for, Kalpita? Vishnupriya is booked. So the next number is, that's a number. So this number, Kalpita.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. I'm booked. I am booked. Okay, right. So yeah, the next number is for this. So Kalpita, who's this for? Right, so where version has been booked. And the next number is for this. Kalpita? Ritvika for this. Okay, alright, fine. So now the next number is for this. Is for this. Kalpita? Mridubhashini has been booked already. Okay, fine. So the next number is that's a number. Who's this for, Kalpita? Brinda. Okay, all right. So the next number is, who's this for, Kalpita? Hariharan has been booked. Okay, so the next number, who's this for, Kalpita? Ritan Nitish. Okay, and the next number is this. Who's this for? Balaji. Okay. So the next number who's this for? Prabhu Aditya. Okay. The next number is this. Who's this for? You are left. Okay, Kalpita is left. Kalpita. Okay. Which number is it? Okay, alright. So the people who are left are Kavin Nitin.
That's it, sir. That is remaining, sir.
So here everybody, I remain, man.
Sir, you are,
Nice.
I booked.
Yes, sir, you are.
Right,
Sir, you
right. Okay, so we might be changing the number. There will be a twist.
sir.
Sir, you are கஷ்டப்பட்டு எழுதுங்க.
அதுக்கு அப்படியே அந்த சார் கேட்கவே வச்சிருக்கேன்
எல்லாம் அமர்ந்தேஸ்வரி யாரையும் ஓட்டு
So Kavin, Nitin are remaining. So which we have two more numbers, Kavita, and we have Kavinraj and Nitin alone remaining. Okay, Nitin over here and Kavinraj over here. Okay, Kavita, open your eyes. I'll read out the list for you, boys and girls, everybody. So the first person is Nitin Murugan. Second person is Mitra. Third, Vedavarshit. Fourth, Kiran Nandita. Fifth, Vishnu Priya. Sixth, Ritvika. 7, Kirtana. There is no way to pass this as a corona batch. This test has to be taken by Kiran. 8, Reshwar. 9, Mridubhashni. 10, Hariharan. 11, Ritin Nitish. 12, Kalpita. 13, Kavinraj. 14, Balaji. 15, Manikandan Sundaresan. 16, Prabhu Aditya. 17, Nitin. 18, USB. That is Udeshi Brinda. And 19 is Navan. I might be changing it. Yeah, sure. Okay, so we will remove this bench. அல்ல அந்த சேர் போடலாம்.
பெஞ்ச் வந்து தனியா பின்னாடி போட்டுச்சு சார். நாங்க சேர்
கூட்டுவலி சார்.
Virtual chair for online people.
Videos.
When Nitin Murugan can switch on the video. That's
Yes,
okay, the first person, without taking further, we are running out of time. Nitin Murugan.
Sir,
Sir, can I go second, sir? I just need one minute.
Say, okay, I'll give a sample. Good.
என்ன வேணா கேட்கலாம் சார்.
என்ன வேணாலும்
என்ன வேணும்?
என்ன வேணா கேட்கலாம் உங்களுக்கு.
என்ன வேணாலும்
No restrictions.
blah, blah, blah.
என்ன பிரச்சனை கேட்கலாம் சார்.
அது நீங்க முடிவு பண்ணுங்க.
சார் பொறுத்து.
அது நீங்க முடிவு பண்ணுங்க. Okay, I'm taking first. And as the senior most person from the online, Balaji and Reshwar will continue, or அது எப்படி நீங்க முடிவு பண்ணிக்கிறீங்களா?
நெக்ஸ்ட் யார் பார்க்கலாம்.
ஆமா, நீங்க how are you going to discipline yourself?
Sir, can each of us go, sir?
Sorry?
Can each one of us go, sir? Or like, should it be like half of the class, half of the session for one person and half the session for another person?
It has to be drastically fast, as you mentioned. All of us can go very quickly. And I'll also answer very quickly.
Yes, sir.
Record ஆகாது.
The first person will be you, sir.
Unfortunately.
Not a sample. Sample of the
அப்படியா? இது ஒரு சாம்பிள் உங்களுக்கு வரது மாதிரி நீங்க அரெண்ட் பண்ணனும் அப்படினா. Right, okay. Sample. Okay, who is asking?
Sir, may I?
Don't ask more questions. In a chance. Nalla question.
Okay, Kiran.
So, sir, you said that like a few minutes ago, you said that it was a personal story of Gayatri and it was a story for another time, sir. So, I think that other time is
I
now,
missed
sir.
that part.
Can you
I missed that part. Can you repeat?
கிரண் சார் வெயிட்.
Kiran, repeat the question. I missed that part.
So, sir, you said that you would save the story of Gayatri for another time, sir. I think that other time is now, sir.
அவங்க வந்து உங்களுக்கு உண்மையாவே என்ன பண்ணாங்க, எப்படி செஞ்சாங்க எல்லாமே சொல்லுங்க.
Well, Kiran, to answer that question, as I told you, Dinesh She was looking top to bottom and she was asking me if that was my idea. I said some statements which obviously could hurt any girl and would make any girl angry. I said, no, that's a waste of time. I would not have definitely taken your name and he's an idiot to do such a thing. That's what I mentioned to Gayatri and she became so wild and she started shouting at me. And she shouted she spoke all that in Tamil, but what she wanted to say is, உன்னுடைய உண்மையான முகத்தை நான் இப்பதான் பார்த்தேன். I thought you were a decent boy. She mentioned. That's number one. Number two, she mentioned that you are very unpredictable. You look very soft and you look as a very plain person, but you are a real villainous person. Perhaps the first person who called me a villain was Gayatri. In the dance.
You look soft, Venus.
And that was really making me angry and I shouted back. It was in the Hindi tuition and in front of our Hindi tuition master. And he intervened and he made it as a truce. But the best part was after our Hindi tuition master left because his last bus was at 10 p.m. And Gayatri's dad always comes and picks her up at 8:30. So we had 20 minutes stops and we were shouting. Dinesh was silent and he did not want to, he did not want that to be made a very big chaos. And he started supporting Gayatri at that point of time. And on my eyesight, a chameleon effect that was happening in Dinesh, he started speaking in favor of Gayatri. Oh man, it was very unfair. As if I were Gayatri, I would have been also trying to do that same. So at one point of time, the blood on the heart was not because of Gayatri, it was because of him. Because he started speaking very favorably. And from then onwards, she gave me a label. And that label was something that I was not able to accept at that point of time. 9th standard, 9th grade person, little kid, so I was not able to accept it. She said, I'm a very prejudiced person. That is, she gave the name male chauvinist. You don't like girls, you hate girls, so you are a male chauvinist. And so that's what has happened. Hope I have answered your question.
Sir, on a scholar question, sir. Is Dinesh married now or?
Dinesh is married. Gayatri is
Dinesh uncle. Okay, sir.
Dinesh is living in UK, Gayatri is in China. Yes, they are still in contact. Does that answer your question, Kira?
Yes, sir. Nice answer.
That was the truth, it was not an answer. That was the truth. I'll even give Dinesh's email ID, you can cross check with him. Who's next? Kirtana. Next question, Ilya. So, is the sample over? Can I have the next person coming and sitting in the chair?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet. Okay, who is asking the question? Who is asking next?
Sir, can I ask?
Yes, Nitin.
Sir, so normally in school there's this one kid who just does not fit in, sir. There's this kid like everybody calls a weirdo, right, sir? Like, because he acts different from everybody else. Is there a kid acts before at your school? And how did you deal with him? No, sir. I meant there's always a kid who's trying to fit in, but he can't because he's just different that way. Have you ever experienced that, and how did you act to it?
I was that kid. To answer your question specifically, I was that kid who was not fitting in because when I was a 9th grade or 8th grade student, I was not fitting in mathematics class. C.K. Krishnan, my favorite idol, I think I have already spoke about him. My favorite teacher who taught me mathematics and English, he was having two different facets. He never liked me when it was mathematics class and he liked me only when it was English class. So I was trying to fit in and there was a kind of a psychic vibration in my mind. When I was in the 8th grade, I was studying in a school called as RBS matriculation over here. The kids here who are living here, they know. There, the correspondent gave me a lot of psychic vibration. I get the dreams about that school even now. And you won't believe, you got to believe, 3 days back, even 3 days back I got the dream. I always get the dream that, oh my God, what am I going to do in Tamil examination tomorrow? Oh my God, what am I going to do in remembering the mathematics formula in the examination tomorrow? My hands will start shivering and my heart will start pounding and my adrenaline will dance between the sky and the bottom, and I used to get sweat. And all of a sudden I realized that it was only a dream, and it always happens at 2:45 a.m. And you know what? The biggest happiness, world will look very heavenly when I realized that it was only a dream. So this psychic vibration was given to me by one Mr. Ramaswamy, who is the owner of that RVS matriculation school, because he always asked me one simple question. And that simple question was, how much mark you got in mathematics paper 1 and mathematics paper 2? I still remember that question. Each time he used to ask that question, I got rattled. So I still have that. That has put up a very, very heavy impact on my brain. And in MS evening sessions, I take a very big pledge internally that no student in MS evening sessions should suffer that kind of a problem that I suffered when I was an 8th standard kid. And that is why I'm making this session so much fun-based. Because when it is fun-based, one half of your brain comes and says that, you know, life is very easy. Think about the evening session in Manikandan Sundaresan class. We will have a lot of fun, right? So if that interface comes into the child's mind, then academic pressure and academic toughness will go easy. Because I did not have something of this sort when I was an 8th grade student. So to answer your question, I was that person who is not fitting in. And to answer the second half of your question, I never came across that difficulty. I was always having the difficulty, and that's why I remained as an average student. Today, Mitra in the 8th grade and 9th grade, she is handling things pretty much in a snap of a finger. She is very cool in her academics, and when I look at her, when I compare Manikandan Sundaresan version 8th grade student and Mitra, my own daughter version 8th grade student, she is standing somewhere in the biggest vertical limit, and I am standing somewhere in the wrong corner. I appreciate it. And that is because of not Manikandan Sundaresan, perhaps her mom. So happy that Mitra is not like Manikandan Sundaresan. She's like her mom. Hope that answers your question, Nitin.
Yes, sir. That was a very interesting answer, sir.
Thank you. Okay, so shall we go for the main thing? Because whatever you saw was only a trailer. So Nitin Murugan wanted to go second.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Ritvika.
Sir, I have a question, sir. Can I ask, sir?
Yeah, one last question and then we'll go to the people, because I want students to come here to the chair. Yes.
Oh, sir, can you share your college memories, sir?
That will take 1 year with Vika.
Because that is one separate class. அது சேர மட்டும் நடுவுல உட்கார வச்சு
Okay, Ritvika, one small episode, and I will speak in detail when my main turn comes. I'm coming only 15th, which is going to be tomorrow. So the main turn comes, I will explain more. But
Okay, sir.
to answer your question, the body is what, when I was a college student, I was having a lot of other things to deal with, because dad was always keeping ill. So when dad was ill, and when myself and my brother were taking care of our mom and dad, we were not really having the mood to enjoy college life. Yes, college life was enjoyable. The college that I studied, NGM College, the college in which now Balaji is studying, the college in which Dakshin's mom was studying, we all went to the same college, NGM College, very enjoyable college, less workload and all that. Yes, but we were not having time to enjoy. We were not having the peace to enjoy, myself and my elder brother. But college memories, if you ask, the biggest fond memory that I have, a couple of days, one main day, I think it was July 27, 1998. The day when I won Mr. Bharatiya University competition in front of all the people. I stood on the stage. I won championship in weightlifting competition and best physics competition. And I was posing, you know, the movie I released, Vikram's I, Shankar's movie. I still remember my dad.
You released the movie.
Now the interesting proposition about I movie is that when in I, Vikram plays a bodybuilder role, and he used to pose in front of all the people. And my dad reminded, and he was very proud of me at that moment. I still remember that day, we were in Bangalore, we were speaking about that movie, and he was not interested. But once I downloaded the movie for Mitra and my mom, my dad watched that movie, and in that Vikram used to pose in front of all the people and he was laughing. And I don't know, it was not a comedy scene that was going on, and I was asking him why he was laughing. And he said, you were like this when you were in the college. இப்படிதான் நீ போய் ஸ்டேஜில் நின்று எல்லாத்துக்கு முன்னாடி நின்றுருப்பா அப்படின்னா I asked him, இதை நீங்கள் காமெடியாக சொல்கிறீங்களா இல்லை நான் பாடுறீங்களா? And he said, no, I'm really proud. It takes a lot of guts to do that. So that was a day when my brother helped me a lot. My brother, in 85 category, 75 category, 70 category. In 70 kg category, I had 16 competitors. In 75 category, I had 6 competitors. In 80 category, I had 4 competitors. So basically, if you are getting into the category in which the competitors are less, you got more probability of getting into the finals of the best physics competition. Ironman, it's called as the Ironman. Those days Ironman, not the current Ironman. It was called as the Ironman competition, but I was called Mr. Njim and Mr. Bharati University after winning it. So my brother wanted me to appear in the 75 category. I was actually 71 one year, weighing 71. So what happened was he gave me a lot of juice, apple juice, and he made me feel a little heavy. So I said, I'm going to bloat if you are giving me, and I will not be able to show my abdomen cut muscles if you are giving me a lot of liquid. I don't care about that, you eat. So he gave me rusk, bread and apple. Wonderful combination, which will make you very, very slow. So when you are posing, you need to have a lot of speed and all that. This will make you very, very slow. But doing all that, I can even get you a recess break and all that, but 70 to 75 point away. I don't know how it got, how that wonder happened. From 70, weighing பார்க்கும்போது weighing machine ஏறி coach நிக்க சொன்னாரு. நிக்கும்போது I was 75.5. எப்படி நடந்ததுன்னு தெரியல. எங்க அண்ணன் பின்னாடி கால வச்சானா என்னங்கிறது. So I was pushed from 70 to 75 category. And I was looking at my brother, what என்னடா நடக்குதுங்க அப்படினு. I was a police officer. Okay, police officer, overall surveillance for ஏதாவது violence நடக்கக்கூடாது. And he looked into my face and he looked into the weight. And half an hour back முன்னாடி பார்க்கும்போது the weight என்னன்னு அவர் என்கிட்ட கேட்டார். My brother said, sir, half an hour back முன்னாடி பார்க்கும்போது பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அவன் ஒர்க் அவுட் பண்ணல. உங்களுக்கே தெரியல சார், போலீஸ் ஆஃபீஸர் தானே. ஒர்க் அவுட் பண்ணால் மசில்ஸ் பம்ப் ஆகும்போது பிளட் ரஷ் ஆகும்போது சார் பவுண்டிங் ஜாஸ்தி ஆகும்போது இப்படி பேசணும். Very good, அப்படின்ட்டு அவர் போயிட்டார். Because all these things are explained in English. So that's why the police officer got it. So 72, 75 category வந்தாச்சு, and I easily broke those other 6 people and I came to final. But the point was, 70 தான் Stephen Rubin. I still remember his name. His name is Stephen Rubin. Fantastic guy, a fantastic guy. ரமணான்னு ஒரு படம் ரிலீஸ் ஆச்சு. அந்த ரமணா படத்துல யூடியூப்ல போய் பாருங்க. அதுல வந்து முகேஷ் ரிஷி, the police officer, and யூகி சேது, விஜயகாந்த் தான் கல்பிட்டுன்னு தெரிஞ்சவங்க ஒரு காலேஜுக்குள்ள போவாங்க. அந்த காலேஜுக்குள்ள போகும்போது எங்க ப்ரொஃபஸர் தான் அப்படின்னு நாங்கள் இப்போ ரொம்ப பெருமைப்படுறோம்னு சொல்லிட்டு அந்த கூட்டமே நிற்போம். அப்போ ஃப்ரண்ட்ல ஒருத்தர் நிற்பான். ரமணா. அப்போ ஃப்ரண்ட்ல ஒருத்தர் நிற்பான். அப்படியே சும்மா ஜம்முன்னு செதுக்கிற மாதிரி டாலா நிற்பான். கொஞ்சம் பார்க்கறதுக்கு பிரபாஸ் மாதிரி இருப்பான். க்ளோஸ்அப்ல காட்டுவான். இன்ஃபேக்ட் ஹி அட்டர்ஸ் அ டயலாக். முகேஷ் ரிஷி சிங் வந்து சொல்லுவாங்க, பாலிவுட் ஆக்டர் நகருங்க அப்படின்னு. அப்போ ஹி மேக்ஸ் அ சர்காஸ்டிக் கமெண்ட், யாரை பிடிக்கிறதுக்கு வந்தீங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு, ஆக்சுவலாக வந்து நீங்க பண்ற வேலையை அவர் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காரு அப்படின்னோடனே, இப்போ நகருங்களா லத்தி சார்ஜ் பண்ணட்டுமா அப்படின்னு கேட்டோன்னே, ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்ல ஒருத்தர் உயிரோடு இருக்கிற வரைக்கும் உங்களால் அதை நடத்த முடியாது அப்படின்னு சொல்லும்போது யூ வில் கெட் கூஸ் பம்ப்ஸ். That guy who says that dialogue is Stephen Rubin. அவன் தான் என்னுடைய காம்படிட்டர். Excuse me. So that guy is Stephen Rubin. அதை நீங்க ரீவைண்ட் பண்ணி பாருங்க. He was obviously 6'2" and I was only 5'11", and he was standing like a scallion. Only 5'11". At that time. So he was standing like a scallion and I was very, very weak. Very, very weak. He deserved to win that. Now, if you're saying, out of the chest, I'm saying, it was 1998 Mr. Bharati University. It should have been Stephen, not Manikandan Sundaresan. But the point was, அவன் வந்து போசிங் பண்ணும்போது நீங்கள் பல்ல கடிக்கூடாது. அந்த மசில்ஸை கிராம்ப் பண்ணுறப்போ யூ ஷுட் நாட் ஷோ த ஸ்ட்ரெஸ். சிரிப்பு இருக்கணும், இல்லாட்டி ஆர்டினரியாக இருக்கும். If you see Arnold Schwarzenegger posing, Arnold Schwarzenegger will have a very neutral face. So I படத்தை விக்ரம் கூட சிரிச்சுக்கிட்டே இருக்கும். I kept on smiling, but that guy got a little furious. அப்போ என்ன ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா பைசப்ஸ் பண்ணும்போது he tried to make mind games. என்னோட பைசப்ஸ், நான் இப்படி பைசப்ஸ் வச்சிருக்கும்போது அவனோட பைசப்ஸ் வைக்கும்போது இந்த எல்போனால என்னோட எல்போ அப்படி அடிக்க ட்ரை பண்ணுது. That's when I lost respect. இப்போ நான் என்ன பண்ணிட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் நானும் சில மைண்ட் கேம்ஸ்ல யூஸ் பண்ணேன், which I don't want to say here. And then what happened was, நான் அவங்ககிட்ட சில விஷயங்கள் பேசினேன், அவங்ககிட்ட சில விஷயங்கள் பேசினேன். வாட்டர் பிரேக் கொடுத்தாங்க, அந்த வாட்டர் பிரேக்கில் தான் அவனை நான் அடிச்சு கொண்டது. ஸோ அந்த இடத்துல நான் வந்துட்டு அவன்கிட்ட போய் நான் சொன்னேன், இதைத்தான் சொன்னேன், ஒன்றுமே சொல்லுவேன், நான் சிம்பிளாக தான் சொன்னேன், இந்த மாதிரி எனக்கு ரொம்ப மரியாதை இருந்தது அப்படின்னு. அதுக்கப்புறம் சில விஷயங்கள் சொன்னேன், அதோட சரி. அதுக்கப்புறம் my brother pulled me off and he said that வேண்டா நம்ம என்ன பண்ணி மேலே வந்தோங்கிறது உனக்கு தெரியுமில்ல அப்படின்னு. என்ன பண்ணி மேலே வந்தாலும் சரி, இன்னைக்கு அவன் முடிஞ்சு வாங்கிட்டேன் அப்படின்னு. நீ தானடா சொன்னேன், அவன் இருக்கிற வரைக்கும் நம்ம யாரும் ஜெயிக்க முடியாது, நீ தானே சொன்னேன். நான் சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தேன், இப்போ அப்படி இல்லை, நான் தான் ஜெயிக்க போறேன்னு சொல்லிட்டு அந்த வைராக்கியத்தோட போய் when they announced my name and Stephen Rubin was number 2, அப்போ எனக்கு ஒரு அப்ளாஸ் கிடைச்சது எம்ஜிஎம் காலேஜ்லேருந்து. அது இப்போ வரைக்கும் எனக்கு காலேஜ் இருக்கு. அஃப்கோர்ஸ் செகண்ட் இயர்லையும் நான் தான் அடித்தேன், தேர்ட் இயர்லையும் நான் தான் அடித்தேன். ஃபோர்த் இயரில் பாரதிய யூனிவர்சிட்டிக்கு MBA போனோன்னா என்னால் பார்ட்டிசிபேட் பண்ண முடியும். பிகாஸ் மை டேட் செட் நத்திங் டூயிங், ஃபோக்கஸ் ஆன் ஸ்டடீஸ். இதுக்கு மேலே போய் ரோட்டில் எல்லாத்துக்கு முன்னாடி வந்துக்கிட்டு ப்ரீஃபை போட்டுக்கிட்டு நீ வந்து பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கிறது என்னால் அலோவ் பண்ண முடியும்னு சொல்லிட்டேன். ஸோ பிஎஸ்சி காலேஜ் ஒன்று வச்சாங்க, மிஸ்டர் கேஸ்கால். அந்த மிஸ்டர் கேஸ்காலே அடித்தேன். தட் வாஸ் இன் 2001. அதோட சரி, அதுக்கப்புறம் அந்த கனவு அப்படியே ஷேர் ஆகிடுச்சு. ஹி டிட் நாட் வாண்ட் மீ டு பி a professional பாடி பில்டர். உடம்பு நல்லா வச்சுக்கோ, ஆனால் போஸ்டிங் எல்லாம் பண்ணாதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு. ஆனால் கேஸ்காலில் நான் ஸ்டீஃபன் ரூபனை பார்த்தேன். He was much well built. அந்த கேஸ்காலிலேருந்து 2 வருஷத்துல 2003 தான் ரமணா வந்துச்சு. அந்த படத்தில் பாருங்க, ரமணாவில் பாருங்க, நான் அப்போவே அவ்வளோ ஷேப்பில் இருக்கான். அவன் இன்னும் ஒரு 3 வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி எவ்வளோ ஷேப்பில் இருப்பான்னு யோசிப்பார். ஸோ that is one of the fondest memories. Beating Stephen Rubin in front of everybody was a fondest memory. Thank you, Ritvika. So
Super, sir.
Thank you. Just try to grab
Super, sir.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Just try to grab that Ramana and see for Allah. I suppose already he was better bodybuilder. Okay, the second was Mitra, so Mitra comes to the chair now. Nitin, would you like to go now? Now you are technically speaking second.
Yes, sir. I will go.
Okay, sir. Right, put on the video now. Anybody can ask any question. Come on the video, Nitin.
Sir, can you see me, sir?
I'll take it. 1 second. Okay, so here's Nitin Murugan for you.
Sir, is my video clear, sir?
It's very clear. You don't even have to worry. Okay, are we all able to see
Yes, sir.
here?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Nitin Murugan is on the magnetic chair and the questions can start. Who will start the question? From direct class or online class?
Online class, sir.
Reshwar, you can start asking questions to Nitin Murugan.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, alright, when I was a kid, I'll tell you the truth, we had like our own like friends group, like a couple gang in Arkansas. And so it's just like a few families, and we'd always be like, so which place do you like better? Do you like India better or America? And I would be like, oh, I'd say 50-50 because I don't want to insult anybody. So what would you say?
I would pick India because it's that's where I was born and that's where I am most used to. Except the one thing I don't like about India is there's way too many mosquitoes there. They're flying all over it. And it's very annoying when they bite.
Okay, question. Who wants to? Yeah, Mitra.
So Nitin, from July 15th you were part of your batch. There you have Anjana, Mohit, then Vitashri, Manjusha and Mayuka and others. So which one do you... and Bettina too. So which one do you like the most? The batch which contains those people or this Indian batch? Which do you like the most and which is very interesting?
Actually, I cannot answer that one.
That's
Mostly because
No, you have to answer.
I can't give like a straight one or one, sir. I have to like say that I like both, sir, because either way, both of these are like interesting and fun, and they've actually been teaching me how to speak more fluently to others. When you're like randomly just picked on to answer like a question, I can respond much faster and more confidently. So I think both of these classes are helping me learn. So I think both of these classes are
Okay.
good. I really like both of them.
Ah, yeah, Naveen.
So, within the question I have for you is, so there are some people in school, there are always people in school who bully other people and who do things that you don't like. So have you ever done that? Be truthful with this. So have you ever done that? Is there a person in your class who does that? Or have you ever been on the receiving end of that? And if so, explain me.
So the thing is that really in school, normally when you're in a lower grade, it's much more easier for you to get bullied. But normally the older kids don't even come next to the first kindergarten section because there's too many teachers around, so they don't even make remarks about the kindergartners. So, but like once you're in 4th and 5th, it's much easier to be targeted by a bully because either one, they're taller than you if you're the shortest person in the class like me, and second of all, they just don't like you. Like the way they just hate you is different. They don't like you. It's like if you're like teacher's pet, the teacher likes you very, very much. You're one of the most targeted people. So in 5th grade, actually, I was being bullied. I mean, my classmates were being bullied by a 6th grader, and that 6th grader, he was standing something like 5 feet, like 3. And he was like super tall, and then all of us 5th graders are like very small compared to him, and he has to look down to see us. Like he has to completely just turn his head to look down at us. So it was making us a very easy target because we didn't know how to speak back to him. And he threatened us if like we tell the teacher, he'll make sure that the rest of the bullies in the school bully us. And then one day we like asked him, why are you doing this? And then he just couldn't come up with an answer for it. So he just left. He's just like, you know what, I'm wasting my time with you. So I'm like, but why are you doing this? There's no proper reason that you have to meddle with us. So then the next year, he moves away from this school, right? So it was actually like, he moved homes to a different school. It's the high school around the block over there. So he moved to the high school. And now my friends are like, wait, but why is he doing that? And then my friends were starting to do that. And I'm like, why are you guys doing that? But then they're like, because he did it to us. And then I'm like, but that doesn't make any sense for you to do it either. So I think the understanding I've got from bullying is that once you're bullied by someone else, it makes you get that anger for other people. So it makes you become bad too. It's like, I'm being bullied, so I need to take out my anger on something or someone.
Right.
So they're going to take it out on the school. So it's like, there's no reason for it. It's just they have that anger building up.
That's a great answer, Nitin. Nitin, my third and final question to you. Which was the most worst lie that you have said and you were taking too much care that your parents should not be knowing about that lie?
Sir, actually, I really don't lie that much, but I have lied like once or twice in my younger age. It's a common thing that people have to do like at least once to get out of trouble. So it was when I was a little kid and I couldn't understand school. I used to be like one of the smartest kids in kindergarten. I go to like first grade learning classes with a higher grade teacher. So one day I just couldn't understand, so I was just sitting there pretending I was actually working on something. And then the teacher comes by and asks, "What are you doing?" I say, "I'm reading an online book." And then she looks at my iPad, and then I don't have anything open. And then she's like, "What are you doing?" And then I said I was just gonna take up my book and then I was gonna read. And then when another kid walks by, he's like, "What are you doing?" The teacher just said read. And I'm like, I'm going to pull up my website. And then this kept going by. I had to like stay out of trouble because I just really wanted this class to be there, but it's like really hard to do. So they were asking me questions about the book we were reading for like third graders. And I was only in kindergarten, so I was trying my best to understand it. But it was one of those books that you're just too underage for. It's like a chapter book that like sixth graders even read. So when I was trying to read, my teacher comes by and she's like, "Can you take up your book? I want to see what page you're on." So immediately I take up my book and then I flip to a random page on the book. And then I quickly just look at the words and then I'm reading this page. So far I've read and then I was just saying the words on this page randomly and then she's like, "Okay, I'll come back to check on you." I think that was like the worst lie I've ever said.
Right, so we understand that you don't lie that much. Because you have lied a very big lie which doesn't necessarily warrant you to go for another lie. So thank you for sharing with us. Good job with
Yeah, sure, but the truth is at the end I was like, okay, I really didn't understand this book. Could you maybe help me at the end of the class? So that's what I had to ask her because I really didn't understand the book, so I had to ask her in the end.
So you not only
She
lied.
was actually really glad that I asked.
So you not only lied, you were acting to the teacher as if you were a nice kid. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Thanks. Good job, Nitin. So, very good. Good job. Very good. We'll still come back to Nitin. Anyways, nothing is exhaustive. I'm just going to the next person because we could cover as many people as possible. So Nitin did a good job. So we'll come back to Nitin.
Sir, my school starting in 2 minutes.
Yeah. So we will see you tomorrow. Thank you, Nitin. Bye.
Okay, sir. Bye. Bye.
Thank you, Shan. Have a good day.
Mitra.
Have a good day, everyone.
So Mitra comes to the magnetic chair, and this time we will start with the direct class. Who wants to ask question first? Vedoshan. So 3, 2, 1, go. Yes.
Very big mistake. Very big mistake. If you pretend to family members, dad, mom, everyone, who even now don't know that you didn't say them that I have committed this mistake, but still now you are managing that and you are feeling inside that we have done it, but we are wrong.
No,
Yeah, this is an opportunity you can convey this message to this big mistake. You should not say.
Smart person.
எது சொல்லலாம் அப்படின்னு
Yes, I think that I said before sometimes, before sometimes that school matter, one girl
You're reading up the other people's standards. Good.
In second standard, I was very small. groups right now. So they had a very good groups now. At the same time, I would want to concentrate in the studies, and there was maths teacher. She always likes me, and I'll score sometimes full mark, and she used to give me some gifts. If someone fights with me or do some misbehavior with me, I used to say, I'll say to my father, I'll say to my father. I'll say to my father. There was a girl whose mother was a science teacher. That teacher joined me for the first year. Her daughter was her friend. Once I said to her too. I said my father like that, and she had her relative too. So they both would be very friendly. And I said I would say to my father, I said to my father. Then one day it got up with a problem, and she just said to her mother about it. Her mother started inquiring with me. Why did you say that? Do you think you will say that and she will come and like that she started something? Then I had to apologize a lot. Then I had some I apologized a lot, and that's it, sir.
What is it?
Permission to
இல்லை சார் வேற போட்டு சரி இவனுக்கு சார் அதை
யாரையும் கண்டுபிடிச்சு
அந்த ஸ்கூல் விட்டு போயாச்சு சார் ஸ்கூல் விட்டு போயாச்சு சார் இல்ல சார் அந்த மிஸ் எல்லாம் நீங்க போய் கேட்டா சிஜிஓ ஸ்கூல்ல தான் போய் கேட்கணும்
சரி அந்த டைம் நீ அழுதுங்க did you cry? Yeah, you cried. அதனால தான் யோசிக்கிறேன். So you did not tell me. So that's psychic vibration. You see, it was a mistake. நீ என்கிட்ட சொல்லியிருந்தா வச்சுக்கோ.
கோல் குடுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க? It's only professional based questions.
No, I am really hurt with the point that as a second standard kid, not being able to tell that to me, she would have cried because of that lady who was the lady. What did she say exactly?
who is she?
So your mom knows it. Okay, next question.
Professional based questions.
And the miss Nachi is school சொல்லிங்க. Okay, next question. Anybody from here?
Tell me, sir.
Balaji.
Paladina. Please, gracious.
Wait, is it me? Did you say me?
Yeah, sure, go.
Okay, Rachel, go.
Okay. So I have a situation. You have to tell me what it's called. So in a town, there's one barber, and on his sign, it says, "I shave the hair of men who don't shave their own hair." So that's what it says. But the thing is, who shaves the hair off of the barber's own head? What is this called?
There is a barber and he has a signboard in his shop, and the signboard says, "I shave the hair of the men, people who don't shave their own hair." Okay, so what is the second part of the question, Reshwar? About the barber?
Yeah, but the barber has hair on his own head, and who shaves that?
But that applies for the barber as well, right? So that signboard applies for the barber as well.
Yes, sir.
So for his hair, where he will go? Who will shave his hair? That's what Reshwar says. It's a logical reasoning question.
Just an answer.
Either his customer or another shop.
She says either his own customer or he should be going to another barber shop.
That is his customer who argues with him about this matter, sir.
Okay.
That particular customer.
Okay, well, so I was thinking in terms of like it being a paradox, because he says that he's going to share the head of the people who don't shave their own head, but if he shaves his own head, then that's going against what the science says. So that's
That clears it because he says, I do it every day and I do it myself. I'm doing only for those people who don't do for themselves. That's what you're trying to say, right? It's a paradox.
Yes, sir, how is that?
Yeah, it's paradox.
No, he says that, like, I shave those people's heads who don't shave their own head. But he says, I do it every day. So I am not coming into that bracket of...
Is either a liar or it's a paradox?
No, it's a paradox. It's not a lie, it's a paradox. Okay, good question, Rachel. Who's next? Yeah, Navin.
So Mitra, there are always certain peoples from different groups. Groups being like teachers and then friends, like that. Certain people that you hate. Okay, that's putting crudely. Okay. Some people might have a reason. Some others, they just feel the vibe that, you know what, I hate her. That, pointing towards the door, I said, pointing towards the door, everyone. So things like that. So who are those people in terms of students and teachers? It can either be your class, a senior, a junior, or anything else.
Manikandan Sundaresan, founder of MSc.
Sometimes seniors.
Yeah.
Names.
No, please, it's just there's no.
You have to answer the question.
I don't know the exact name. Sometimes, not every time. Sometimes if my senior of one of the A section, he will misbehave.
Misbehave?
Then there will be a situation.
Who misbehaved?
Sir, or A section of A na sir.
Sir, last one, sir. I A section like all girls, sir.
Misbehave.
No, sir.
Misbehave with you.
No, sir.
Girls or
இல்ல நான் ஒரு அப்படி பண்ணா நான் சொல்றேன் சார்.
Hypothetical.
Yes sir. Maybe because A section means in my this 7th and 8th sir, A section they sometimes get don't take me sir. In 7th year also sir, where last year I studied 7th year also they used to get very bad names sir. There were only particular students who earned good names sir, and they were
in both of our classes, 7th and 8th.
they were very good sir. And at the same time 8th year also like Nagananna, then Nagananna. They were very good persons sir. At the same time bad persons too.
Right.
So, like,
Okay.
I got
Fine, so before we move on to the question, the last question for Mitra. Is it coming from the online form or here? Brinda. Okay, so we will have Brinda and then Kiran. Kiran, Ritvika.
நான் ஆன்சர் பண்ணிடுறேன்.
So Mitra, the question is the quality which you doesn't have but you want that quality to have.
Quality that you don't have. Yeah,
But you want that quality to be okay.
anger management. I don't know.
மித்ராக்கு ஹேங்கர் மேனேஜ்மென்ட் நாங்களே எங்க
Get me a 3-meter rope and put it over here, put it on the top, near the bulb, and hang me here.
Actually, now present I don't have that quality. And, maybe in the future by doing other therapies I will be able to develop that. And I always, to be harsh, I always shout at my mother. I'll be a different face to my father and my grandma, and a different face to my mother.
But the point is, the most composed and organized fellow in the entire family is the mother. Okay? She knows what to be done at this time. And she does only what is right. But she shows her anger only to her. But I am right opposite to her. Whatever the good qualities, I am saying in front of everybody, whatever the good qualities that she has, that's only because of her mother, not because of me. But she shows the anger to us. So that's a nice question, Linda. You have really figured out. So, Kiran and Ritvika, very quickly, because we have Vedosham coming up.
So, Mitra, what was the biggest lie you've ever told, sir?
Kiran, the biggest lie was this. I mean, I'm still getting churned inside. This.
சரி இந்த மாதிரி நான் தான் சொல்றேன் கேட்கலாம்.
I would have made the teacher a frozen chicken if she had been. That was in the second
Sir,
standard.
don't remain chicken, sir.
What does it mean? Okay, answer the question. Kiran has asked. The biggest lie that you have told.
Again, don't you have any other question, please?
No. That Nitin Murugan is not going to answer. After சொல்லிருக்கேன்.
அவள வில்லங்கமான பிரச்சனை கேட்டேன்.
Yes, sir. Yes. Actually, I always wanted to trigger an idea to sir. That is, want to buy a new laptop. So that I can get this laptop. I always wanted to, because it had some things that should be repaired, but he doesn't do that. Honestly speaking, he does everything to his family, but not to him. That happens. Even last month, when Navyanana was saying about his plot that was on 15th of September, he broke his phone by himself. The one I say what happened on the day. Actually, his battery has to be repaired, and at the same time his screen and the other things. What he did was, okay, afternoon I'll go and my class got finished at that time, and it was about around 1:45, and I was not feeling well too. So he went out. That time only I woke up. As I was not feeling well, my mom and my dad forced me to sleep, and I slept because morning I came to the sports test. I slept. Then a biggest lie that also said one more thing, sir. I did not reveal the thing that I was ill. I did not reveal it to him. He came to know about it on 16th September only. Till that I kept hiding it from my dad alone. My grandma knows it, and my mom also knows it. And at the same time, that was the day he got the phone. When it was about 4 o'clock, and he rushed and came. Okay, I have class at 5. I have to go get ready. I have to eat my lunch. So what he did was, he's just standing out. Each time he goes out and comes, he takes bath, and then when he comes in. So what he did was, okay, take the sanitizer. I'll just first sanitize my hands, and then I'll go take bath, and within that he showed the phone. This is the new battery I bought for this phone. That was a new shining battery, which was worth, I don't know the correct cost. He came and he was standing in near the stairs. He was standing, and I was just now coming. I was applying medicine, and I was coming. I pretend as if I am okay. So what I did was, I got the phone. Okay, super. Like that I said, and suddenly I saw he asked me to put the phone in charge, and I saw there was a crack at the edge of the phone. And I said, what's it? And he suspected the worker who worked in the shop. And okay, I will go and return it. And what he did was, okay, within that, let me try fixing it myself. He just pressed and it got broke.
There was only a crack. If I had given it back to the service provider, he would have made it fixed. But I know what I'm doing. I class time I made a press. And the screen got broken.
The screen got
body panel the body panel say for example, if this is the phone, the panel அமுத்திட்டு அது டக்குனு கிளிக் ஆகும் அப்படின்றது ஆயிருக்கு முன்னாடி அந்த எக்ஸ்பிரஷன்ல அமுத்துனா சர் 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 சர்
the phone that he considered a sacred one, and the phone he respected, and the phone he maintained for 4 years. For 4 years, not broken now. 1 month ago only I got this phone. My mom at the time, see, my new phones for my family members, but see my old phone. He always advised Oppo. And he said, okay, take it, but he refuses to do so. And the first lie I did, I lied was buying a laptop. I wanted him to buy a laptop. This, you know how click, 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 like that it sounds, and the edges are like.
No, the reason is I have so much of I have so much of sentiments on the products that I use. So
what he does, what he did was I was showing on the next day itself I was showing lot of offers. See there's a laptop for low cost and it is very useful, but he kept refusing finally. And that was the first line I.
No, 3 months ரெண்டு வாரத்துல சார் லேப்டாப்பே உடைச்சிருக்காரு.
யூஸ் பண்ண முடியாது இந்த லேப்டாப்பை.
okay, once again before you continue, both Kiran and Reshwar have got a time out, so they are leaving. So Reshwar, see you tomorrow, and Kiran, see you tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, bye.
Bye, bye, friend. Keep saying it's from.
Yeah, finish it fast and rush it fast.
And the second line was about this falling in, and that one that broke at night. No, not on 16th too. The day when he bought the phone itself, the night, however we had to reveal it, it was about 10:45. Next day I had the test, so I had to watch physics video. Venkat sir sent me about 6 videos and I had to watch that, and then one day I had to attend the test. So I watched that and I was pretending as if I am very normal and casual. And I was like this, sitting so that he can't find it out. I folded my legs and I was like laptop was getting charged. That was a new laptop. So I was like this. I was putting on my headphone like this. My grandma sat in the opposite sofa and father sat here. He was just seeing the photo. He was changing settings of this phone, and then my grandma revealed it. And that night I got lot of scolding. And at the same time he was like, okay, what is this, that? He started and one day at 11:30 he said, these are the two things.
Right, so Kiran Bhattavasti Kalamita. So okay, so that's Mitra, and she was very candid, and you have handled the magnetic chair very well. Thank you. Thanks so much. Amma, Ritvika, you have a question for Mitra?
Yes, sir.
Very quickly, but you are not answering now, a little later. Yeah, what is the question? Ritvika, what's the question? Fast. First person to question for us. Kirtan. Never.
Please.
Sir, give that sir.
Okay, now we go.
Come, please stop.
So
question, as you asked for Mitra, what are the lies you said? You didn't say till now to your parents.
Okay, I'll add some things to the question. What was the most recent lie you said? What was the last lie you said to sir? What was the last lie you said to us all here? And what was the last lie you said to us? Next time will be